Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar on what is angel investing and how to be a good and successful angel. Angel investing has been getting a fair bit of airplay, I guess, over the past few years with shows such as Dragon's Den, which came out of the UK, and then also Shark Tank, which came out of US and also here in Australia. And I'm delighted today to have a personal friend, Ruth Drinkwater, who has been in the angel community for quite some time. So welcome, Ruth.
Thank you, Dion. Good morning.
So Ruth, can you share a bit of background of yourself and how you got involved with angel investing?
Well, I first became involved with angel investing, the subject, probably around about 2005, 2006. When I was managing the Queensland Government's Biostart and TechStart investment funds. For anyone who was around during that period, they were Queensland Government funds that matched investment from VC investors at the time. This was just before the GFC. I'm sure everyone remembers that terrible period in our history. But the community ran out of funds, shall we say. And there were a group of mentors who were based around iLab, the original government incubator here in Brisbane. And we'd been discussing for several months. In fact, it went on for a few years before we did anything. But we'd been thinking about how do we do this? And angel investing had become a bit of an activity in the US and in the UK. So we finally decided just to start an angel group, and we started Brisbane Angels. I was member number 7, and virtually simultaneously we had support from the Queensland Government to set up the Australian Association of Angel Investors, which then went on to help facilitate the formation of about 16 groups around Australia, where we formalised it and raised the profile for angel investing. So I've been involved ever since.
Wow, fantastic. So I think we have pretty much an expert on the call today. So those who are listening, I hope you get a lot out of today. So Ruth, what is this thing called angel investing?
Angel investing is actually the first third-party investment that goes into a new company or a startup, as we're now calling them. They come in after the friends and families who support those entrepreneurs to actually get started. Angels are those who come in and provide the hands-on support and, most importantly, the mentoring and the network contacts to grow that business. They also provide financial capital, but that sometimes is the least important in the early stages. The entrepreneurs need the networks and the mentoring and the help to actually structure their company and to get that activity into the market. Now, because angels come in so early, the risk associated with whatever we do at that stage is pretty high, because it's not the same as a business that already has a product in the market and they have revenues and they have customers, and they're really easy to identify what they're doing. Quite often these startups don't even actually know what their market is.
So when we talk about angel investing, and there's also the term venture capitalist. So I put up a slide here for the viewers and correct me if I'm wrong, angel investors. So they're usually an investor, maybe a part of an angel group, as you've described. And obviously they're probably more willing to invest in the startup or the early stage businesses. They obviously have the experience and have contacts and can be active or passive, which we'll talk about in a tick. So with the venture capitalists, it seems like they're a bit more, are they more ruthless?
Was that your word? You want me to use that word? I don't
Yeah, no pun intended on your name in that case. Are they more hard-nosed? How about that? Are they more hard-nosed? I mean, because I have the thing there that they're either a company or business rather than an individual. It seems like they're less risk takers because they're investing probably more money. Am I on the right path here?
VCs tend to invest much later. Over the years, they have moved up the chain and generally now invest when companies are ready to expand significantly. So they've really gone over the hump of, now everyone's probably aware of that valley of death, and they've become cash flow positive and they're seriously ready to scale up. VCs tend to invest other people's money. Some VCs do have some skin in the game, although it's usually their management fees. Not many of them do put their own cash on the line. The big distinction with angel investors is that angels make their own investment decisions. There is no compulsion or anything. They make their own decision to invest their own money, and that's really something that's critical to remember. They also invest their own money each time. They don't. It's not in an investment fund, although some of the high net worths in the community may have their own private office, if you like. Yeah. But most angels around, and those who are in groups these days, tend to either invest through their self-managed super fund or through just some spare money, if you like, lying around, because they actually want to participate in this activity and they're very passionate about, and it's actually an exciting place to be. Angels tend to work across a larger portfolio. They put a smaller amount into a larger number of investors compared to VCs who generally put a large chunk into a smaller number of companies. Eggs in one basket often comes to mind.
Yeah. So with the angel investors, so if they've invested in a startup and it's growing, I take it that the angel investors probably have a good network with VCs anyway to help in that journey of the entrepreneur to hopefully having a very good exit.
Yes, they do, and certainly the good angel groups around do have that vertical network, if you like, into the market, because they know those companies are going to need more money. They know they're going to need far greater networks and doors to open than the angels themselves can provide. For that reason, angel investors have a really important role to play, and it's a serious responsibility when you stop to think about it, because they have the power to make or break those companies. And if the entrepreneurs and the angels at that stage don't get it right, then all sorts of things can happen further down the track. And I would have to say here that about 20 years ago, angel investors did not have a good reputation. VCs and follow-on investors did not want to deal with them because it was such a mess. So we had a responsibility to do the right thing and to, the ethical business approach, and to grow and structure that business as best we can.
Yep, fantastic. So when we look at different types of angels, we have active and passive angels, which we talked about in that previous slide. Can you tell me the difference between an active and a passive angel?
A passive angel is someone who just puts the money in and doesn't get involved. The company just goes off and does it. So you just throw the money in. In many ways, we call that dumb money. An active angel is someone who works with the company with their, they put their capital in, they work with the company, they undertake activities, and they help grow the value in that company. A good active angel will make sure that there is good corporate governance in place, that there's no control that's really abused, that all shareholders benefit, and that the company grows in value for everybody.
So as an angel, say if I have some money and I want to put it into a product, from a personal decision, what things do I need to take in mind if I want to be an active angel or a passive angel, especially going in with an angel group?
If you're in a group and you don't know, and this is a common occurrence now, because I'll use the example of my group, or not my group, the group of which I am a member, Brisbane Angels. We have been operating now for close to 15 years. And no, not quite, sorry, 10. I can't do my math this morning. 10 years, and we have built up a layer of trust within that community. So we know some of our members have particular skills and expertise and long and deep experience in particular sectors. So if we want to build a diversified portfolio, we may follow one or two of the others who we know and trust So we can be a passive angel in that particular investment. We can follow along with them, but we just put money into that pool.
Yeah.
If we want to choose to be a deal lead, for example, then we tend to get involved in those companies that we know we can add value to.
Yep.
And that's
okay. That sounds great. And I guess even though we're not focusing on the entrepreneurs in this discussion, entrepreneurs can also look at the various angels to see which ones, if they approach to be active angels, to see if there's an alignment in values. I guess that's the other way of finding out who that deal lead is as well, to lead that, to lead the, well, in a sense, lead the deal.
Well, absolutely. And this is something that entrepreneurs should always remember. They need to do their due diligence on the angel investor as well. What's the old saying? You've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you
find the prince. Yeah, true. So what's this? So continue on, Ruth. You were just going to finish.
It's important to remember that this is a long-term relationship that they're building, and they want it to be right. And you need to be able to get on with and work with those parties. I often liken it to a marriage, because know who you're getting into bed with, because if it goes bad, it can be very nasty, and you need to at least start on the right reasons and on the right page.
Very true. Very true. So what's this good angel, bad angel scenario? What makes a good angel, and what can make maybe, I don't like to use the word bad, but maybe a not so good angel?
The previous, in history, I mentioned earlier that some of the angels 20 odd years ago didn't have good reputations. They were the ones who didn't structure things correctly. They took control, that they didn't take into account the other parties involved in those investments. So, for example, they took advantage of the entrepreneurs, they stole the IP, they stole customers, they didn't do what was ethically good. Mm-hmm. So through AAAI, when we first formed the Australian Association of Angel Investors, we actually wanted to introduce, and did introduce, a code of conduct. I'd like to think that we have moved the ethics in this space to a better place over time. However, there's no real evidence to indicate that that has been successful or not, because we still hear of problems in the community where entrepreneurs have been taken advantage of. So all I can say is, without saying that there's a good and a bad angel investor, do your due diligence, understand the terms of any deal that is being put to you, and understand what you want to do and what you want to achieve.
I guess as an angel, or as a person wanting to become an angel investor, it sounds like to even de-risk myself to maybe being thought of as a bad angel, or maybe hooking up with somebody who says they're, a good angel and everything. It's best to find out where these groups reside and join with the group, because in that way you would think that these angel groups have done their own vetting of people, and then these groups would provide a mentorship. Would I be correct to say that?
Very true. Yes, you would be, because in the groups, it is the power of the collective. It is obvious what the behaviour that's expected. There is a code of conduct in those groups. There are rules, and the corporate governance principles always apply. The group will always look at things collectively and analyse things collectively. So going to a group, from an entrepreneur's perspective, is relatively safe because they have pre-vetted their members.
Yep.
Secondly, going to a group, you also find the power in the network, and those angel investors who want to get involved in this activity, it's actually a wonderful community to learn from. My experience has been that everybody is very collegiate. They network and they learn from each other, and they share experience and knowledge, and we're all learning something new every day. As some of our members say, we've worked out, we keep finding out good ways of losing money, but we haven't found the right way of making it as yet. But But the goal is that we don't want to lose money, and we want to make sure our members do make money and get a return on their investment, not to leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth, entrepreneurs and angel investors alike. We want everybody.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, that sounds really good, which leads to our next slide. Can you share some key strategies to succeed at angel investing, albeit knowing that probably the first one is to seek an angel group to help you on your own initial angel journey?
Good question, because I think there are actually several. And firstly, I think if anyone's interested in becoming an angel investor, then they need to understand the core perspective that they're coming from. Why do they want to become an angel investor? Why do they want to become involved? Do they have an interest in helping early stage companies? Do they want to start to support startups and entrepreneurs? Do they want to become involved in an exciting activity emerging in our economy? Do they want to make money through a diversified portfolio approach? Do they want to make money fast or slow? Because angel investing is generally the long return. It's not a quick one. But basically, it can be a very long conversation about how to get involved and to learn about what it is. I would suggest the first thing anyone should do is find an angel, take them out for a cup of coffee and have a chat for an hour or so. It's always a really good place to start. Then they can introduce them into a group. So the second point would be find a group and go along to a meeting, which in some ways I often think sounds a bit like an AA meeting. But seriously, the process in a group is actually, it's evolved over time. There are new groups forming around the state, and my colleagues and I in Angel Loop are actually trying to share some of the experiences to help those groups, new groups, get established, because it's not as simple as just setting up a new group of people or bringing a group of people together, having a pitch session and then working out, well, are we going to invest in this or not? Because you can invest in just about anything, but the process can either be straightforward, it can appear straightforward, but it's actually quite complex once you get into the detail of it. It involves screening and due diligence and negotiations and closing, and that can be learned within the group. And when you go through it with people who've been through it before, you actually learn a hell of a lot. And we find that most new angel investors don't jump onto the first deal that they see. They usually wait about 6 months until they become confident enough to make their own their investment decision, to invest their own money into their first activity. It's not rocket science. It's actually a thoughtful process, learning from others. But a sure high-risk way of doing things is to just jump in and invest in the first thing you see without any guidance or advice from anybody.
Yeah. Do I have, if in going into angel investing, do I have had to have my own business going into an angel investing?
It can help, yes, but it depends on what you can appreciate the difficult spot an entrepreneur often is when you're in your own business and managing your own cash flow. But secondly, you might, or alternatively, you might have experience in a particular area in industry that is of use to those businesses in any case. So, for example, a lot of people coming out of the corporate world, they've been in big corporates, they have great networks, they can open lots of doors, they've had high salaries for many years. They might wish to become involved in this activity as well. So they may not have had their own business, but they've been in the corporate world and in business, and they understand a core area of the business and industry that is actually very valuable.
Yep. So is there a minimum amount of money that I have to invest to be an angel, to be considered an angel?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
crowdfunding rules in Australia have changed things somewhat recently. However, not all angel investors are sophisticated or high net worth individuals. There are a lot of us who believe that the educated investor is one that you need to find. There are a lot of people who have the ability to invest reasonably small amounts. In Brisbane Angels, we have a goal of 50K a year in several deals. And if we can get 100 people investing 50K a year, well, that's a nice amount of money. Thank you very much to invest in companies.
Yeah. So if I had, say if I had 50 grand and I said, okay, I want to join, in this case, say Brisbane Angels or any other group, and I see something I want to be involved in, but it might be my first, toe in the water, and I go, I don't want to use my entire 50. Can I then just go, look, I'll invest, say, 10 grand into the deal? If the entrepreneur might only be wanting to raise 100, that would be okay, along with the other investors.
Yes, that's right. And that's the power of a group. You can put 5 or 10, as much as you like, into that one deal. The power of the group is that we target getting at least 10 others to fill that entire 100K round. If you had 50K to invest in a deal, it doesn't go into one. You should put it into either 5 or more than 5 or 3.
Yeah. Well, that's great to know, because I think sometimes the perception is that I need to have, I need to put 50 grand into it. I need to put a lot of money into a deal or to an entrepreneur to be called an angel. So that's great to know that you can even have smaller packets of money, and especially going in with that angel group, it in a sense de-risks your investment anyway.
That's right. It does. Much better.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm an angel. How do I find other angels? Where do I look under every rock? Do I just search the internet? How do I find you? Find you and others.
They're relatively easy to find now. You can just search on angel groups and they will pop up now. You've got Brisbane Angels. You've got some on the Sunshine Coast. There is a group on the Gold Coast. If you ask around in the community, we are getting groups started further north in Bundaberg and Bundaberg, Rockhampton, Cairns, Mackay, Townsville. There's activity emerging up there, which is great under the current government critical mass in the entrepreneurial space. There are other angels around the country. There's Sydney, Melbourne, there's a group in Adelaide, group in Perth, group in Canberra. So yes, there are a number around.
And and there are groups overseas. I'm familiar with the American Capital Association in the U.S., and they have various chapters in the States and other countries as well, like India, Canada. So it doesn't matter where you are. There are probably angel groups nearby that you can tap into.
Exactly. So the Angel Capital Association in the US, there's just under 300 groups in the US. They invest more than the venture capitals do annually. In New Zealand, the New Zealand activity is extremely strong. They have come a long way in the last about 10 years. As a matter of fact, New Zealand has left Australia for dead, and Australia needs to pick up its act on the angel investing front.
Well, there's a competition for everybody.
That's right, competition for everyone. Our friends over the pond have left us behind.
Wow.
So we do need to have more action and more activity here in Australia. We do like.
All right, fantastic. Now, you shared some information with me, Ruth, for those of you who are based in Southeast Queensland area, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and even Sunshine Coast and surroundings. On this Wednesday, September 27th, there is a information session. So you think you want to be an angel investor, conducted by the Angel Loop, and that's going to be at the precinct in Brisbane. So you can go to Eventbrite, even just search in their search engine. So you think you want to be an angel investor will come up. It's free to go to, just to find out what this angel investing thing is all about. And I'm sure you'll meet other angel investors and be able to ask questions.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, look, I'd like to thank those that came on the webinar, and also very much thank Ruth for her insight into this field of angel investing. And we'll be able to take questions after I turn off the recording. Thanks very much.